going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball fan manga breakdown review, where today we're going to be reviewing a fan manga entitled Dragon Ball Multiverse, which is a fan-made manga set within its own timeline outside of the main canon of Akira Toriyama and Toei Animation, involving both characters from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, as the overall concept of Dragon Ball Multiverse involves universes from all timelines and dimensions to gather together and battle in one tournament in order to determine which one of the many participating universes competing in this tournament will be the first to obtain the prize of the Dragon Balls for their own personal usage, as for many years now I've been reviewing and introducing all kinds of Dragon Ball fan mangas to the world created by the community for the community. So if you guys are interested in seeing and reading up on incredible stories and concepts such as Dragon Ball AF, Dragon Ball Legendary, Dragon Ball New Age, Dragon Ball X, and many others, then feel free to check out the Dragon Ball fan manga playlist in the description box for more videos such as this, as right now we are going to be diving into a brand new manga chapter. As before we begin, if you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications to be the first to know when a new video is posted onto this channel, as we kick off Dragon Ball Multiverse manga chapter number 44, with both Supreme Kais having to speak about Majin Buu, as one of the Kais goes on to state, "I was also concerned, so I observed his mind, his soul, and his movements, but everything is normal." As Shin goes on to state, "I also have spoken to Gast. He cannot confirm that the great Kaioshin is really using his technique, so he also said that it should be very easy to copy. I don't know. We should remain vigilant." As the other Kaioshin begins to question Shin in stating, "So Buu might be acting this way with the great Kaioshin, but why?" As back at the tournament arena, one of the tournament holders goes on to state, "Dinner is served." As Pan looks on over to her mother, Videl begins to question Pan and asking, "It wasn't too tough to be dead?" As Pan replies, "Well, I can't remember anything." And Vegeta is so casual. He has his arms next to his face. He goes on to ask, "Hey Cell, would you explain to me why you have two kids with you?" As Cell becomes really annoyed by Vegeta, he goes on to state no, in which, keep in mind, this comes after the initial fight between Emperor Vegeta and Raichi alongside Gast and Evil Demon King Piccolo. As one of the tournament holders begins to walk on by, Bojack begins to question them and stating, "Hey, we're getting out of here," with the tournament holder having to state, "Wait, you wish to return now? Don't you want to see the end of the tournament?" As Bojack says, "I don't give a damn." As we see another pair walk towards the tournament holder as well, they go on to state, "We'll take this opportunity to return as well." As the tournament holder says, "Okay then, follow me." One final adventure awaits the members of Universe 6 back home, coming later, which to my understanding, Bojack had finally realized that he is in no way, shape, or form even ready for this tournament to begin with, especially after having to be killed off by Cell, so it's only for the best that Bojack and many others leave. As we go back to the actual tournament, we see how everyone begins to prepare. Goku's brushing his teeth, everyone's getting ready to sleep, but somewhere on this asteroid, the narration goes on to state, "Behind the corridor of Universe 4, we see a very small liquid begin to form, and in fact, it's one of Super Buu's heads." As he re-emerges, he goes on to state, "Ta-da! Let's start with these gentlemen, shall we?" So we see a little blob of Buu's head begin to float around. He's opening doors, he's going through walls, he is obviously up to something very sinister. As Buu comes across Raichi, he goes on to state, "I need to make sure not to wake Raichi. He is sharp." As he floats on over, he notices Tapion, and stating, "Here, a way to better use your monster, and for you, a free recharge." So not only is Buu able to, quote, allow Tapion to use the monster inside of him better, but he's also recharging Raichi's crystal ball that he's sitting on. Very suspicious. As Majin Buu begins to float through the door again, he goes on to state, "Next, no one's participating in Universes 2, 1, 20, and 19. Okay, let's be discreet. There's quite a crowd in there. Okay, Vegeta, Son Goku, you wouldn't like to be helped now, would you? The two halves of Gotenks, on the other hand, against me, you'll definitely need a bonus." As Buu hovers above Trunks and Goten, he goes on to quietly state, "And all the secrets I have discovered about the fusion are yours. Now, onto my successors." As he quickly zooms on by, he notices Oob, Pan, and Goku sleeping. As he goes on to state, "I would like to talk peacefully with you, a childhood friend would do." As he hovers above Oob, he begins to tap into his mind, basically having to go back and revisiting the childhood that was of Oob, and we see Oob in his village. He goes on to cry out, "Hello, is anyone there?" As a young girl emerges out of the blue, she goes on to tell Oob, "We're in a dream. There's only us." As Oob turns around, Anju goes on to state, so, even as a powerful adult, when you return to the village, you don't dare to speak to me. You can talk to me here, it's just a dream. Say, you can perform magic like Boo, can't you? As Oob says, huh? No, I'm still a human being. I don't have such powers. As Anju says, well, would you like to know how? Not knowing that this entire time it was Super Boo that was infiltrating Oob's dream. As he carries on laughing, he goes on to state Cell never sleeps, so there's no point of getting close to him. As for the Furious Girl of Universe 16, she doesn't need any further help. So, it seems like you're in need of repairs and energy. As he hovers above Android 18, he successfully heals her as he says, pop, good as new. Boo is coming to town. As he's beginning to float around, the Supreme Kais and Kaioshin begin to speak to each other as one of them goes on to state, did he try to escape? As the Grand Kaioshin says no, everything is fine. As one of the Boo heads hovers above Goku, he goes on to state, what about you? Oh, I have an idea. As right before he executes his idea, he notices the Fat Boo sitting in the kitchen. As the Fat Boo cries out, buddy! As Super Boo says, shush! Majin Buu replies by stating, so, are we gonna play? With Super Boo saying, be quiet, listen. I'd better explain the rules of the tournament to you. Otherwise, you do something stupid for sure. So let me explain. And to me, I'm getting the vibe that this Super Boo is definitely helping everybody because that's exactly what he's trying to do. He's not only trying to increase everyone's power, but seemingly enough, he's trying to allow them to tap into their greater potential so that they could perhaps defeat him. It's really weird the way Boo is being portrayed here, but he's obviously up to something big. He has a plan and he's planning on executing that by tapping into everyone's vitals and either giving them energy or doing something for them that will benefit Boo down the line. As Boo then spots Frieza's ship, he goes on to state the people of Universe 8 didn't sleep in the apartments that the Vargas gave to them, so you don't have any chance. So I'll be here as a guide with a fake memory, that is. Let's assume you met a wizard on a far-off planet. He would have taught you to... yeah, it's believable. But for the others, I will have to bring an idea forward. As he hovers above King Cold, he goes on to state when your opponent is a Saiyan, just talk to them, and they will accept any terms to have a more interesting fight. About Gast, forget it. And for the conclusion, XXI, the mystery of Universe 6. As he hovers on over, he walks into a room and he spots something. As he goes on to state, wait, what happened to this apartment? And that's when a figure in the shadows cries out, you. And Super Boo's like, wait, but what power? As this entity completely blasts away Majin Buu, as the entity inside goes on to state, how did you get in? Is the question for me. No, my question is, how can I vanquish number 18 easily in this tournament? As the next artificial morning, everyone seems to wake up a tad bit different. As Yamcha looks on over at Android 18, he goes on to say, and you didn't even notice? One doesn't just magically get up fixed overnight. As 18 says, leave me alone. I don't know how this happened, but I'm fine with it. As Oob looks on up, he goes on to state, hey, the ring is gone. As one of the Vargas goes on to state, good morning everyone, and welcome to the third round of the Multiverse tournament. The ring has changed again, and it's now a flat disc on the floor. As Goku looks, we see a massive flat disc covering the ground. As the Vargas goes on to state its gravity has been multiplied by 10 yet again. The invisible protection wall has been changed. It has a cylindrical form and is activated only during fights. We can start by the first round, Son Goku from Universe 18 versus Frieza from Universe 8. Please enter the ring and don't touch the low wall. As Frieza casually enters the ring, Goku hops on over but trips. As Goku notices that the gravity is much heavier than how it was before, Gohan goes on to state the gravity is at 1000 Gs, dad, with Piccolo stating don't touch the wall, Goku. And Goten begins to make fun of Piccolo and stating it's forbidden to help a participant, Piccolo, because the Vargas basically told Goten previously in the last chapter not to assist anybody as it is against the rules. Frieza awaits Goku, as Piccolo states Frieza and Goku, a legendary face-off reborn. As Vegeta states it will only be over in about 2 seconds either way. Goku transforms into a Super Saiyan and approaches Frieza. Frieza goes on to state, tell me Saiyan, would you like to come with me to my place? And Goku's like, what? Frieza states, I invite you. Do you want to come over to my place? As Goku states, okay, sure, why not? As instantly the entire landscape changes. Frieza goes on to state, "You are in my place. An illusionary world in our minds. If I win here, I win the match. How about that?" As Goku says, "Okay, no problem. The fight will be more interesting that way." As Frieza says, "Oh, perfect." As they finally engage, and despite how you want to look at it, Goku vs Frieza is still a classic. As Frieza attacks Goku, Goku blocks off and uppercuts Frieza in the jaw. As Frieza falls down, Goku goes on to state, "It's very cold." That's about it. "This landscape isn't really to your advantage, Frieza. Shouldn't you have chosen better?" As Goku begins to cough. Goku's beginning to notice something as he goes on to state, "Wait, I'm beginning to suffocate and as Frieza states, "Oh, you've noticed that. There is almost no oxygen in this atmosphere. And we are also getting rapidly older here as well. You've already aged 20 years. The cold, the air, the time shift, all those things impact only poorly inferior races like yours. I've already won this fight." As Goku states, "Let's not waste any more time then," and transforms into a Super Saiyan 3. But as Goku shifts into his Super Saiyan 3 form, he immediately collapses. And as he collapses, we notice how right then and there is something extremely off with Goku as the manga chapter comes to a close. Now, my initial thoughts for this is everything that Super Buu had to do with influencing Frieza came in handy right now, because instead of combating Goku one-on-one, in which it was about to be over as Vegeta had stated, Frieza easily convinced Goku to step into his homeworld where he had the advantage. So do you guys see how Super Buu easily was able to have an influence on Frieza's fight in trying to tap deeper into what the Saiyans' flaws were in accepting any challenge? And that's exactly what happened here. Now, the only difference here is that Frieza understood that Goku was willing to do anything and everything he could to have a good fight, and he used that to his advantage. Now, the question also begs, what did Super Buu do with the other remaining fighters that also influenced them the same way he did with Frieza? For me, I really enjoyed this manga chapter, even though it was a little weird seeing Majin Buu float around in trying to help certain fighters out, even though it looked as if he had good intentions. In the long run, I don't think he does, because everything that Super Buu is doing now is to play into his advantage in winning this tournament so he can gain the Dragon Balls. I definitely feel that by the end of this fight, we are going to see a definitive winner, and I really did enjoy the way this played out because Frieza knew that he couldn't beat Goku, but he still played him in the end. Now, prior to all of this, we bear witness to Dragon Ball Multiverse manga chapter number 43 special in having to witness the experiment involving Bojack and how he came to be. Now, this manga chapter was relatively interesting in seeing as to how Bojack came to be, the experiments performed on him, how he recruited all his allies, and everything Bojack did prior to the initial Multiverse tournament. And I would have to say it was a decent origin story, even though it mainly involved prisoners and escapees, and kind of reminded me so much of the movie Overlord, with genetic testing having to come about, with Bojack having to be such an influence within the experimental chamber to where he grew so powerful that he was able to break out of this, initial prison that he was kept in, and which is why he had the power that he had and became who he became. And even though I did not fully enjoy this special as the previous ones, I really did enjoy how Bojack came to be in having to manipulate Beto, in having to manipulate the rest of his gang, in joining him on his adventure, in joining him on his quest, and becoming the strongest in the universe by any means as a result of doing these experiments. So I will be covering the Dragon Ball Multiverse specials and their normal chapters in their entireties as we go forward from here. Let me know what you all think of these manga chapters down in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, guys. Once more, if of course you guys are new to this channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on all notifications if you guys have missed out the previous manga chapters. You guys can find each and every single one of them down in the description box below. Tune back in for more, slap a like down below if you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing each and every single one of you guys in the next Dragon Ball Multiverse fan manga chapter review. Take it easy, guys. Peace.
This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe, and of course I'm here to tell you to subscribe to UnrealEntGaming and all his social media platforms. Also, don't forget to turn on notifications so you can be the first to know every time that he uploads a new video.
Oh, did someone say UnrealEntGaming? Oh my god.
The fuck, Zarbon? Put on some clothes!
Well, why don't you put on any clothes?
What? I don't need clothes, but Jesus Christ, that's huge!